Hey everyone, Nutrition is Deepa here. So, long hair, short hair, fine hair, curly hair, or maybe some of us are suffering with hair loss. So, what kind of hair care product to use for all these different kinds of hair is the question I will be answering on today's episode of Ask Nutrition is Deepa. And to answer that question, I have one of the experts in the industry, Melanie Day. So, Melanie, welcome back to Ask Nutrition is Deepa.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Deepa. It's always so much fun to just have a conversation. So fun fact, obviously my name is Melanie Day, and I'm a trichologist and cosmetologist, but trichology is basically a person who, studies, hair, skin, the science of things, and relates it back to clients into the real world with the salon. Owner of You've Got Curls and Hair Loss Center, which is located in Lexington, Kentucky. And then also creator of In Living Curls Hair Care Community, which is a wonderful community for women of color who are experiencing hair loss and wanting to work with their textured hair.
Perfect. So you are, like I said, Melanie and I did an episode a few months ago talking about how important nutrition is for hair growth and to prevent hair loss. And specifically, we talked about gut health. So we decided to talk about hair care products today because, as we all know, nutrition comes first, food comes first. So once you get that process started, then hair care products is going to be a supplemental treatment, right? It's not a replacement for the nutrition. So as we talk about all these different hair care products, please keep track of your nutrition. But before I get into the episode, Melanie, I first need to ask you, I just love the headpiece that you have it on. And
thank you. Thank you.
So what is it? It's like just a long scarf that you twisted together?
Yeah. So it's a long scarf, and you can use it as just like a wrap, a shawl, whatever. But yeah, it's a long scarf. And yesterday was I washed my hair yesterday. So I've got my hair twisted up underneath and I let it rest for a couple days and I take it out and I got this luscious fro. But today I'm rocking my scarf. So basically what I do, I just kind of put it on almost like a bandana and then twist it, like kind of like a ropey twist. And then I got it wrapped around and then I just kind of tuck it. And there you go. So it makes it great for, bad hair days or just if you're just being lazy with your hair.
This is absolutely stunning, beautiful. Maybe we should have a show and tell of some of the hair pieces that such as the scarves or bandanas that you can use. Let's do that next time. But let's focus and zone in on what do you have for us in store today. So the most common complaint that I hear from my patient is, or I see my patient suffering, is obviously hair loss and the texture changing, either because of hormones or any kind of disease conditions, whatever may be the reason. So people and nutritional deficiencies, not to mention the nutritional deficiencies result in poor hair health. So once we get their nutrition up and running, and as they start to get their life in their hair back, what kind of hair care products we should be looking at?
That's a great question. I always like to tell clients, or for you patients, when you're looking for hair care products, think about what the current needs are of your hair. Not so much to be brand oriented, because I think a lot of us have kind of been programmed to be like, well, I need to use this brand because that brand says it's going to do this. But think about the needs of your hair. For instance, my hair is Afro texture. By nature, is very dry. It's healthy, so I don't need anything special. So with that said, I want to look for products that are moisturizing. I want to look for products that are going to be able to help me retain the moisture that I may not have. And so that's what you want to look for on labels. So just starting out, think about the needs of your hair and your scalp. Is it dry and itchy? Is my hair color treated? Is it chemically treated? Whatever.
Okay. And then is there anything particular we should be looking uh, at the bottle, things that maybe we shouldn't be buying? Like, how I have zillion boxes here of food product, and I teach people how to read the nutrition fact label and the
The
ingredient
labels.
list. Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have to pay attention
Yeah.
in the bottle?
Yes and no. Yes and no. There's been huge debates about parabens. There's been like huge debates about sulfates. Sulfates are detergents, they're cleansers. There's, when you get into like the nitty gritty of things, like the cosmetic science, once again, things are said for marketing purposes, unfortunately. But it's from what I've seen and read, and from what other professionals have shared with me that are researchers and doctors, there's not a lot of evidence from what they've seen that parabens actually are causing breast cancer. There hasn't been a lot of data with that, but in the salon world, products are being said like, oh, it's paraben free. And even when it comes to like your shampoos with sulfates, you're wanting something that's a mild cleanser. You're wanting a mild cleanser. You're not going to use Ajax to clean your hair with. That's what you clean dishes with, right?
Yeah.
You can use anything to shampoo your hair with, but you want something that's mild.
Mild cleanser. Okay. And then, okay, so the first step is obviously looking at the shampoo, right? The shampoo, conditioner. Is there anything, do you have anything to show to us? Anything in terms of? Okay.
So these are just some of the things that I use at the shop. So this is one of my like basic shampoos that I use.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see this here. Satin shampoo. So this is a pH balanced product. So another thing that you want to think about, even like when you were saying earlier about gut health and biome, that more than likely that's a pH thing with your gut. It's the same thing with your hair. You want to make sure that products are pH balanced, because sometimes when things are not formulated right, it could be really stripping to the hair. And once again, when you think of things that are gentle, more than likely their pH of about a 5.5, which is good for a shampoo.
Okay, so can you show us that bottle again?
So this is a So this is one of the shampoos I carry in the salon. Okay. It's a very mild shampoo, and it works on all hair types.
That's interesting. That's even better, because if you have multiple members in the house, and if you don't want to buy different shampoo for each one, then something like this might help. Okay, so once you wash your hair, do we have to use any kind of conditioner?
Yes, conditioners are great. Now I know, like for some clients that have finer hair, where their hair might be kind of fine and limp, they don't really like to use conditioners because like, oh, I want the volume. But really, conditioner is great for, it's great to kind of seal things and to help smooth stuff out with your hair. And not all conditioners are made the same. This is the instant conditioner that I have here. And you can actually use this as like a leave-in rinse out. You can use it, it's water-based. But once again, when you go and when you search for products, think about your texture of your hair. If your hair is on a thicker and coarser side, obviously you're going to use something that's a little bit thicker, a thicker consistency. But if it's at the other end of the spectrum, and if it's very fine, maybe not as dense, you might want to use something that might be a little look of a liquid, like a liquid-based conditioner or a spray or something like that.
How do I know that if it is thick or thin?
So if you could look at the bottle and test the product. So kind of get this out. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you can see.
Okay.
So can you see this? Yeah. So you can kind of see like my hand, it's not too crazy thick, but it's
Okay.
a nice consistency that will work really well with all textures of hair.
Okay.
Yeah, so this would be, I'm trying to think of a thicker consistency.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is maybe like a little bit thicker
Okay.
and you can kind of see. So
I
the
see.
consistency is different.
And that's for the conditioner.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then also too, if you're wanting something that, you know, some people don't like creams, they like more of a spray.
Okay.
This is more of a spray,
Hmm.
and you know, it's very light. You can kind
Hmm.
of, I don't know if you can see, but it's a light mist that comes out. And
Hmm.
so, you know, like maybe like for someone like with your hair type, you can actually spray this in your hair and
Yeah.
still get the benefits of condition.
Okay. So then let me understand this correctly. You don't have to put the conditioner on and wash, like rinse it. What you're showing is just stays on your hair.
You can, so first step will be the shampoo. Second step will be to put in like a, whoops, see I'm spilling stuff, like a leave-in rinse out. And you can leave it in for a few minutes
Okay.
and rinse some of the product out. Yeah.
Okay.
For, you know, like the more texture that you have, the more curl that you have,
Hmm.
you might want to leave some of that product in
I
so
see.
that the hair can get detangled a little bit more.
Okay, I see. Now,
Yeah.
just out of curiosity, would you call my hair thin, like thin, fine? You would think? Is this
I
fine?
wouldn't say I wouldn't say that your hair is thin. Like the when I thin would be like not having a lot of density. But
Oh,
as far as the texture, I would say your texture, just from looking at it, looks maybe to be like fine to medium
oh, fine
texture.
to medium. I see. Okay,
Yeah, but that's just me just looking through a screen.
sure. I have to make a special trip to your
To
salon
Kentucky.
in
Yes.
Kentucky, and then we can play with hair. Oh boy. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. Okay, so you wash your hair, you condition your hair, then what?
So you shampoo your hair, you condition it. And like I said, once again, depending on the curl type, depending on what you need to do. For instance, for myself, I have afro texture hair. So I shampoo,
Hmm.
I might do a deep conditioner. So I
Yeah.
do like a deep conditioner.
Hmm.
After I rinse out the deep conditioner, then I would use a leave-in.
Okay,
I can use this as a leave-in conditioner
I see.
and then rinse that out
Hmm.
and then do a detangling spray. So
Oh,
my hair requires a little bit more steps because
yes.
once again, the texture and honestly, like Deepa, I love to equate hair textures to fabrics.
Yeah.
You know, you have silk, you have wool, you have cotton, you have denim, right?
Correct.
So your hair is like silk.
Yeah.
So, you know, like if you have a silk blouse, you're not going to use really heavy,
Yeah.
harsh detergents. You're going to use a woolite.
Yes.
My hair is more like cotton and I want it to be a little bit soft. So
Yeah.
I'm going to use something that has conditioning agents to make it a little bit softer.
Interesting. That's a very nice way to describe. So everybody out there, touch your hair and see what it resembles to with the clothes that you have in your in your
Yeah.
closet, and decide if you have cotton or you have silk or you have wool or you have jute, and accordingly select the hair products. All right. So
Yeah.
does the length of your hair matters when it comes to buying these different products, or it doesn't matter if you have short hair or long hair or um,
Yeah. So no, it doesn't. It doesn't
okay.
matter because
Okay.
once again, hair is hair. Hair is
Okay.
a fabric. And like I said, companies spend billions of dollars in marketing.
Yes.
And if they can carve out a little niche and say, no, this is organic, this is natural, This is for, you know, for straight hair, this is for relaxed hair, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, then that's what they're going to do to draw people like you and I in to buy the product.
Correct. Okay. So, but then let's say somebody has, or maybe let me ask you this: does someone has like mixed quality? For example, sometimes people say, oh, you know, my head is feels little oily, or you know, softer, but then she may have split ends or dry hair towards the, like, you know, dry, or the hair texture starts to go, kind of starts to wear off as with the length of her hair, or so what can somebody do if they are dealing with really dry hair and split ends, especially with long hair?
So if okay, so if a person is experiencing split ends and their hair is long and they also have dryness, those are kind of like three separate things.
I see.
So for starters, I would look into, well, what's causing their hair to be dry and what's causing their hair to split. Sometimes there could be a nutritional deficiency with things, especially with if their hair is dry or if their hair is splitting, right? Another thing that could be causing it is that there could be like an underlying health issue. A lot of women who struggle with thyroid, either hypo or hyperthyroidism, struggle with dry, brittle hair where the hair breaks. They can't keep, you know, they can't keep moisture in it, right? So there could be like an underlying health problem. Or someone who looks like me who has afro texture hair, by nature, our hair is just very fragile because it has such tight coils. It's hard for that, for the oil to go from the scalp all the way to the ends of the hair, where like with you, your hair is straight, probably gets oily very fast because oils can just travel straight through. Where with my hair, it's gotta go through some hoops and some loops to get the oil to kind of travel down, you know? So those are three things that you would want to address. If there's an underlying health problem, if there's not, okay, maybe it's the way that I'm styling my hair at home. Maybe I'm using too much heat. Maybe I'm in an area where there's a lot of hard water. Maybe I'm in a rural area and there's well water and there's deposits on my hair, which is making the fabric of my hair weak and brittle. Maybe I'm not using the right products, you know, to nourish my hair. Or maybe I'm on medication that's drying it out.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And I just want to touch base. I'm just going to inject nutrition here, really. That, guys, dry hair is a sign of, you know, essential vitamin deficiency, specifically vitamin E deficiency. Then of course, vitamin D3 and, you know, B complex. And there's so many vitamins, because remember, hair is our storage system. Iron, ferritin is stored in hair, and usually when women or men ask, you know, when I ask them about hair loss, that's an indication to me that there is a possibly some sort of iron deficiency going on, because your body, hair is not an essential organ for our body. You know, we can live without hair, we cannot live without heart and brain. You know, so when your body is trying to get more nutrients, and if you're not eating properly or if you're not absorbing things properly, then it's going to start sucking things from the organs which are not essential. And unfortunately, hair happens to be one where everything is stored. And you know, hair loss is an indicator of beginning of starting of nutritional deficiencies. So definitely worth looking at. Okay, so moving on. Now I see a lot of women go through, you know, a lot of heat treatment, you know, straightening and curling and, you know, all kinds of, I've seen heat, like hair being treated with heat. What is your opinion about that?
Well, there's two types of heat, right? So with the heat that you're talking about, there's flat irons, there's blow dryers, there's curling irons. In our world, that's called direct heat. And with direct heat, that's basically blasting the cuticle open. The cuticle is the outer part of the hair, right? So the flip side, there's another type of heat which you use with a hooded dryer, like the old school hooded dryer that you would use to like for deep conditioning treatments, or like if you're getting like a roller set. That's an indirect heat. Indirect heat is a lot better because it's heating your hair up from the inside out, which helps to maintain the moisture, where the direct heat is working on the outside or the outer layer of your hair and going in, which causes more friction for the cuticle of your hair, which protects everything.
I see. So you would recommend limiting
so
that.
Heat's not bad.
Yeah.
Heat's not bad. Heat gets, it gets a bad rep, but it's all about how you use it. You want to use, if you do use like a flat iron or a blow, or a flat iron, or like a curling iron, just make sure that it has a temperature gauge on it, not just on and off, because it may not be the right setting for you, but have an actual gauge like you would on your stove, that you're cooking. Have a gauge on your appliance for your hair.
Perfect. That is again another really good tip here, that find a curling iron or
a flat iron.
Flat iron.
A flat iron.
Yes, which has some sort of a temperature gauge. That is awesome. All right, moving along. So what do you think about treating hair with color? I mean, how damaging it is, how good, what's the good, bad, ugly of hair color. Yeah.
I think color is great. It's a way to express yourself. It's a way to make yourself pretty. It's a great way to camouflage natural highlights, as I like to say, gray hair. But at the same time, technology and science has come a long way, where like maybe 15-20 years ago, permanent color had a lot of ammonia in it, and you could just pop the cap and smell the fumes of ammonia, where now color is being formulated without ammonia. The whole purpose of ammonia in color, once again, is to gently open up the cuticle of the hair to allow the color to go deep into the cortex of the hair, which is where it does all the changing of the color. So, and it raises the pH level, right? So you can still do that without ammonia. Now, there's a lot of color on the market that does that, but it has less harsh ingredients to still allow you to do the same thing.
Okay, all right. So, unless I come to you and say, color me pink, you may take me aside and say, Deepa, do you really want to think about it?
Now, let me say this. Let me say this. Now, a lot of women, men and women, but especially women, are doing henna treatments on their hair, right?
Yes.
Let me say this. Yes, henna and regular hair color do not mix. So, because they're two separate chemicals, they're like oil and water. They do not mix. So, for individuals out there who only want to use henna, just think deeply on that if you ever want to go to a different type of color, because it's what we call like these salts. There are the certain types of salts that build up on the hair that once another chemical hits it, it has a negative reaction, and it's not pretty. So that's just putting that out there, because I know a lot of people use henna. I have a lot of clients who use henna.
Absolutely, it's very popular among East Asian men and women. And then the other hazard that has come to has surfaced about henna is there's a lot of contamination with that henna powder. Okay, so there has been a lot of contamination and they are now suggesting that, putting henna, for which we do during festivals and weddings and stuff, and it stays on your hand for long period of
Yes.
time, up to 3 weeks at a time. The
Wow.
chemical is being absorbed by the skin, and it's almost a form of chemical toxicity. See, earlier
Oh.
earlier we used to get real henna leaves which are dried out, and then you just add water and put it on your hand, was beautiful. But now you get this commercially powdered henna, and that's where the contamination is happening. So if I think we
Mm.
should be cautious in general about henna, unless the source is literally from the leaves and nothing is being mixed in there. So
That's a good point. I didn't realize that's a great point.
yeah. So, okay, any advice on gels and sprays and any of that stuff?
Yeah. So when you're looking for, once again, just think about the needs of your hair at that particular time. I personally don't like to have like a helmet head, like I love hair that moves.
Yeah.
Even if you want a style to stay in place, I don't want it to feel like tacky.
Mm,
So for instance, when you look for products, this is the product that I use at the salon.
mm,
This is one of my mousses that I use. So
mm,
it's a nice it's a nice curl enhancing mousse, has a nice medium hold to it.
mm,
I also have sprays that are like a spray gel, right?
mm.
And you can use that almost it gives you almost like a beach feel, like salt, like ocean wave type feel, a little gritty. So it just kind of depends on what look you're going for, and that's how you would select your product.
I see. Can you show us that bottle of the
Yeah.
spray again? Yeah. What is it called? It's called.
Yeah, so this is a mousse.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
this is a
mousse. Okay.
mousse. So
Almond avocado.
yeah, so this is the Design Essentials Almond and Avocado Curl Enhancing Mousse. So this is excellent for, for wavy hair, for curly hair, for afro texture, if you wanted to give more curl definition, if you're wanting to set it, if you just want to have like a wash and go feel,
Hmm.
it's nice. It's nice to do that. And then I also have products that, like if you need a little bit more volume, you can do like a root lifting spray at your roots,
Okay.
and then, do like a spray gel for more volume that way.
I see. Any other suggestion for fine hair in terms of gel? I mean, not gel,
Yeah.
mousse.
Oh, for mousse? Yes. So let's see. There's if we're going by brands, Aveda,
Yeah.
Aveda used to have a really good one. And I think I forget the name. Oh my goodness, I can see it. It was in like a green, it was in a pump, and I forget the name of it, but I used to use that a lot. That was really good for fine hair because that it built up the texture. That's what a lot of like products for finer hair do. They make the hair feel gritty to give it more texture. Even with the shampoos don't have a lot of softener in it. They make the hair feel a little bit more rough, so to speak, but that's to give it the texture. Yeah.
Okay. My last question would be anything. Should I be spending money on buying organic shampoo, or if I'm eating organic food, I can save money on organic shampoo?
That's a great question. Like I said earlier, that's a really, yeah, I had to sit back on that one. That's a great question. Because here's the thing, you have good, better, best, right? And you can use anything to shampoo your hair with, right? But is it the best option for you, right? So for instance, this is a line that I have. It's Oway, Oway, Oway. And yes, and Oway, like their whole line is very plant-based, it's organic, it's fair trade, the ingredients that go behind it. So it's not bad. I like it. It's not bad. But sometimes certain ingredients or certain products may not work for my hair,
Correct.
even though it says that it's marketed as organic or natural.
Correct.
So if you're trying to limit, I guess, like your chemicals, you know, the amount of chemicals that have in products, or if you're trying to use things that are a little bit more pure, then yeah, you can go down that route, but just make sure that it works for your hair type and for the needs that you have.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And summer is approaching, and not that I have access to the beach here, but in case I end up in Hawaii,
Yeah.
or if people start swimming, anything for those, any tips for those, who swim and natural water
So
is
if you're,
fine, but in swimming pool, the bleach and
yeah.
everything to your hair. So
if you're going to be out in the sun, which a lot of us are now, the seasons, you know, we're out of lockdown. We can go outside now. It's so nice. But anyway, you want to protect your hair from the sun.
yes.
And you definitely want to protect your scalp from the sun. You know, some of us may burn a lot easily on our scalp. And so having protection from the sun helps even more. When it comes to sunscreen, you use sunscreen for your skin. There's also products that are formulated for your scalp too, that are great sunscreens. And then also there's a lot of products in the market that have sunscreens built into the actual product. So it actually protects your hair. One line in particular that I knew that had that was, I think it was by Philip Paluzzi. He had a product that it was called Potion, and it was an aloe vera base. And you could use it on your skin, you could use it on your scalp. You could have used it on your swimsuit, you know, because of the chlorine. It would kind of act as a buffer with the chlorine. So definitely, you know, look for products that have sunscreens in it. And if you're not familiar with the ingredients, kind of look it up and see what the uses are for that particular ingredient. And you might already have it in your cabinet at home.
That's true. That's true. And how important do you think hydration is for hair?
It's extremely important. I mean, you touched on it earlier. Yeah, you hit the
Everybody
nail on the
out
head
there
earlier.
who is refusing to drink water because they don't like the taste of water, or they are forgetting.
Water is in here.
Grab your
I'm always
glass
sipping
and
on
drink.
water.
Please, 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 please drink water. Like I said, or like Melanie has been saying, all these products will not work if you are not hydrating your hair from inside out. So,
Yeah.
nothing else. At least keep it hydrated by drinking adequate amount of water. So Melanie, this has been very informative, very exciting, and I'm glad you came back again on the show. Next time we will work on some hair do's that you have.
Yeah.
For those, having bad hair day, or for those for some reason because of some disease condition are losing hair or going through chemo radiation, and if we just want to decorate our hair with this beautiful looking scarf that she has tied around her hair, we'll have some fun with those things.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound not so non-inclusive here, but is there any recommendation for men which is separate than what you said for women?
Sure. So really, no, there's not. You know, because like I said, at the end of the day, hair is hair, right? And skin is skin on everybody, but it's just a little bit different. So for men, I know, especially with my husband, less is best. You know, most men, not every man, but most men are into, you know, not really being too fussy with their hair and things like that. So, you know, basically make sure that you keep your scalp clean. Shampoo your hair on a regular basis. It could be daily or it could be once a week. You know, if you're a guy who works out quite a bit, or if you've got a dry, flaky scalp, you know, use a shampoo that's really good for that. If you are a guy who, you know, some men blow dry their hair, you know, make sure that you use like a heat protectant or like a leave-in spray or something that you can put in. So the styling product, because a lot of my clients, their husbands, you know, they like to borrow their products, right?
Of course. Okay, all right. And a question just popped into my head, which is dandruff. Anything for those suffering with dandruff? I personally feel that has to do with the gut health, so I would go after the gut health first.
Yeah, I mean, dandruff, I mean, it's a yeast, you know, it's a yeast. And if you're using, and this is what I learned today, if you're using a product, make sure that it has like a zinc base to it. You know, a lot of people tend to go to like towards peppermint or tea tree or something like that. But for some people it can be kind of irritating, but use something that has like a zinc base to it, which should be a lot better for you. But I will say this, is that sometimes dangerous shampoos can be on the drying side for hair. So if your hair is already on the dry side, try to find one that has good moisturizers in it.
Okay, perfect. So everyone out there, I hope you learned a thing or two about what kind of hair product to use to take care of your hair. Keep those questions coming, and I will be answering on Ask Nutritionist Deepa's episodes as usual. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Melanie, for joining. And
you're welcome.
We will see you again soon.
See you next time.
Next time, indeed.